Now we are going to start the first session of the last day, that is day 6. The speaker of the session, Professor Anil Kumar Kaur, has already joined this platform. So we are going to start the session soon. So the today's topic is flood risk management, and since the speaker has already delivered a speech yesterday and we had introduced, so I think there is no necessity of introducing him again.
The total housing structure has been initiated, and in this project management, it is also very much right thing. Being a water resource engineer, we are concerned about mostly the amount of flood, the peak of the flood, the time to peak of the flood, area inundation of the flood, and particularly those who are in the construction field of roads and buildings, they should also be aware that what kind of structure should be there, what kind of, so that no intervention, yeah, there will be very less intervention in the as far as my damage, etc., are concerned. So let us work from that front, and first of all, in concern with the hazard and responsibility, and when we are talking about the risk particularly, what happens to this risk, or you can say this fraud risk, the fraud risk, and risk as a term that it is related to the chance of danger and loss. So that means when you are exposed to a particular natural calamity or a man-made calamity, then there is also chance of danger and loss, either danger of life, danger of precious life, or loss of property. So these things may be there. So what we can do, we have to manage only. And sometimes it happens we cannot totally alleviate totally mitigate, totally reduce the situation, but we can minimize the chance, minimize the gravity of the situation, or we can minimize the volumetric sense or whatever sense you are considering. We have to minimize those things. So we have to identify the risk in advance. That means, suppose in a Diwali cracker, what is the risk and what kind of danger is there, what kind of losses are there. So we have to be acquainted. Similarly, flood or high rainfall or a urban flooding or a fast flood or whatever the thing that is happening. So we must be very much aware of these things, and we have to identify those risks in advance and assess the possible losses. क्या हो सकता है? What is the possible losses in Diwali? What may happen in flood? What may happen? So what will be the possible losses? And plan for the mitigation action if an adverse event is to take place. That means, what should be your plan? How to handle? That means, what is your SOP? What is your standard operating policy in order to handle particular risk, and monitor both risk and mitigation action plan going forward. So by the side, and particularly when we are handling the cyclone type of situation, and nobody can restrict the gravity of the cyclone. Cyclone has to enter, and this is a natural phenomena. And in the natural way, it is entering, or the landfall is occurring. The kind of rainfall, kind of wind speed it is carrying with it, that is also cannot be avoidable. What we can do? So by the same way, what we are doing, we are monitoring both risk and mitigation action plan. So if the cyclone is coming, what we are doing? We cannot restrict the wind speed. We cannot restrict the rainfall. What we can do? We can uh, initiate this mitigation action plan, and like evacuation, like the so much of warnings